Hey guys, Felicia Harvey here with More Car Realty. I'm interviewing Mayor Katherine for Lanky Lassie's Shortbread. She's here in Dade City. It's great to see you today.
Great to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So our first question, I just have a few questions today.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little more about Lanky Lassie's Shortbread and the things that you carry here?
So this is my first time owning an actual shop. I've had an online shop for the last 10 years, but really the last year. So where it's been my prime bread and butter. So on there we have 1 pound bags of our original shortbread, which is just flour, butter, and sugar. And then we do assortments of Lassies of the month where we pick a select flavor. We do have smaller options, which are called smidgen Lassies. Those all come individually wrapped and labeled. And we also do smaller wee Lassies that we do that are 1.5 ounces, all individually wrapped. They make really good gifts and presents. But everything's going to be changing like fluid here when we open the shop to see what people are going to be wanting once we have a storefront.
So how long have you been making shortbread?
So my mom really taught me, or maybe I absorbed it the best when I was in high school. But then once I got out of college and I was going to parties and stuff like that with friends and you needed to bring a special dish, I would always make shortbread. And then it became a thing where people were like, oh my gosh, are you bringing shortbread? So it just evolved into, oh, MK always makes shortbread, so that's what I would bring.
Fantastic. Sounds good. So how long did it take you to create the perfect recipe?
So this recipe is probably, I mean, as far as we know, like a 400-year-old recipe that's been handed down by many generations of Murrays. So my mother's grandmother, who came from Scotland, my mother's father came from Scotland with their family, and she taught my mom how to make it, and my mom taught me how to make it. So I have never deviated from the recipe at all, and it's very simple, 3 simple ingredients. So I say, why ruin a good thing?
Absolutely.
By trying something new and potentially making it worse.
That's very exciting. So Mary Katherine, what made you want to start this business?
So years ago, I used to make shortbread for my clients. I was in hotel interior design and procurement of furniture for hotels. So I would make shortbread for my clients, my hotel owners, for Christmas, because that's what we just did all the time. So one of my coworkers said, you know, your shortbread's the best shortbread I've ever had before. And there's a Scottish Highland Games competition in Orlando, and I really think you should enter this. And I couldn't even believe that there was actually a shortbread competition. So I was like, oh my gosh. So long story short, I entered the competition, and I won the first year that I competed. And I walked around with this giant trophy, and people were saying, oh, what did you do? Did you throw a telephone pole or hurl haggis or carry a boulder? I said, no, I won the shortbread competition, and the majority of the responses were, but you're so tall and you make shortbread. Because I'm 6 foot tall, so my brain, which is all marketing and advertising, was exploding, saying, oh my gosh, you have totally got to market this. So I went back home, and my roommate and I were just thinking, like, what do we do? What do we do? And so we came up with Lanky Lassie's Shortbread, and the slogan is long legs shortbread.
Yes.
We thought it was really funny. And so that's when it started in 2011, but because I always had a career in hotel renovation and construction, I never had time to fully dedicate it. But I did little weddings here and there, little parties. It wasn't until COVID of April last year, when I was furloughed from my career for 13 years with no pay. And my husband at the time was out of work because we moved from Orlando to Dade City to renovate this home that we were going to live in. So he was renovating the home, I was the only one with a job, and then there was no income coming in. So I said, well, if there's a time to make Lanky Lassie something, that's what's going to happen. This is our only choice. And I was let go permanently in June. And then since April of last year, I've shipped and made over 12,000 pounds of shortbread.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind of gone crazy. And now it's my very full-time gig, and we're opening a shop here in Dade City.
We are so happy. Can you let everyone know your new location?
Yes, so we are at 37845 Meridian Avenue. We're on the main drag in Dade City. So it's basically Meridian and 7th.
So are you originally from this area?
So I was born in Dade City in 1982, and my parents moved to Zephyr Hills. My dad was the town veterinarian there, and my mom was a speech therapist, so they all moved to Zephyr Hills. So I was actually raised in Zephyr Hills my whole life, and actually wasn't a big fan of coming to Dade City because my whole life was in Zephyr Hills. And it wasn't until 2 years ago, my family and I, being in Orlando, decided we needed a small town feel. We needed to get out of that, horrible traffic. So we decided that Dade City would be a good fit, and we moved back here, and it's been exactly what we wanted it to be.
Great,
So.
yes. I know exactly that feeling.
Yeah, so the small town charm, we love it. The amount of land you can get, we love it. So it's a great place. But it's interesting growing up in Zephyr Hills and now being in Dade City. I'm like 1 degree separated from people, so it's kind of cool to kind of re-meet people that I've heard of, and now I know, on a closer level.
So what are some goals you have for this year for the Lanky Lassie?
So the main goals are to figure out how to run a shop and a business and have product that people are going to want to just buy off the shelf.
Right.
Since I've been an online shop, I get the order, I know exactly what someone wants, I make it, ship it, or they pick it up. So now I have to figure out, okay, kind of like donuts. I'm gonna have things available people can buy, so I just have to understand and figure out how are people gonna buy this product. Other goals are I want to tap into the gift market. So I want to have something that people go, ooh, I want to go to Lanky Lassie's and get someone a birthday present or an anniversary gift or something. So looking into some personal shortbread pan options and things that are a little bit more decorative is a big goal for us.
Okay. Can't wait to see what you come up with. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
So having a very cush corporate career for the last 13 years, I didn't have to worry about not having income. I had my 401k, I had insurance, I had car allowance, and all these things that just in a second disappeared. So I don't have another choice at this point. It's strictly about survival, keeping food on the table for my children, and that's the best motivation there is.
Absolutely. I can see where that would motivate you.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what is your favorite aspect about Dade City?
What I love about Dade City is the sense of community. So that was the attraction and the allure to come here. I did not know at what level it was at. My best friend had moved back here, and when we were talking about places to move, she's like, oh my gosh, you have to come to Dade City. I was like, no, I'm not coming back here, I wanted to run away from this area when I was 18, but everyone is so supportive. They want to be involved, they want to help, and there's so many great little events, parades, and festivals. It's kind of like the best little kept secret in this little town. So I like the historic aspect of it. I like the beautiful rolling hills, the cow pastures, the hills. There just isn't a city that's like this. So it really is just the best little city. I'm so glad that we moved back here.
Absolutely. I love Dade City. So what would you like to see changed about Dade City?
There isn't much that I don't like. I know there's going to be a lot of growth coming to Dade City, so I think learning how to keep the quaintness and the charm of the town even when we're growing and expanding. So I think just acceptance of new businesses, and that culturally things don't really have to change, and we can still stay who we are, but being accepting of new businesses coming in would probably be the biggest thing for change.
I think you're right. So what are some of your favorite places to go in Dade City?
So there's kind of the usual suspects, I think. Lunch on the Moge has been here for over 100 years, and it's just a beautiful little establishment that I think is really charming. Cafe Cocapelli's is a very good restaurant. It's a great place to have a nice dinner, a nice lunch, have some, happy hour with friends. It's a great atmosphere. It's decorated beautifully. We have really cool places like the Pioneer Museum that's off of 301, and it teaches all about Florida's history. And they have reenactments of all types of Civil War and World War I's and II's. They have a lot of fun festivals, and it's in a beautiful area with, again, the rolling hills and the pastures. There's just so much to offer here. Now there's a new brewery right up the street, Dade City Brewery. I do a lot of business with Farmhouse Market, the Rustic Pearl. I'm actually wearing her earrings right now. But there's a lot of great little places. I'm right next door to the cutest little tea shop around, and it's Angel's Heavenly Treasures Tea Shop. And you can come with, your kids and have an afternoon tea and feel really, prim and proper. So there's just a lot of great little places that are so charming and very unique to this area.
Absolutely. I love that about Dade City. So why do you think it's important to shop local?
Well, I didn't truly understand shop local because I've been in corporate America and downtown Orlando for the last 13 years. So I would hear it, but it never absorbed into my brain until COVID. So it was like a light went on when I was in my own shoes trying to figure this out. So, you have to think about it. If you're not shopping in your own community, buying things, that money is not going to, circulate. So if I go to so-and-so shop and I buy it, they're more prone to come to me, and then I'm more prone to tell this person and this person. And then just like social media, it spreads like wildfire. So if we keep that fire going, we can keep a strong sense of community, and we can keep our money in our town and keep it prosperous and beautiful.
That's a great idea. So if you can give one piece of advice to a future business owner, what would it be?
Stay on your toes. Stay accepting and open to knowing that things are not going to go the way that you think they're going to go. So you just have to roll with the punches. Let's see how many other cliches I can say here, but you can't give up if you trip and fall, because you're going to fall a lot, but you're going to learn. People don't just wake up one day knowing everything. They have to fail a lot. So don't give up. Just keep on going. Be creative. Just know that you're not the only one going through something like that. And, if you need a break, take a break. Sit back, reflect, look what you're doing, regroup, but don't give up.
Great advice. Okay, Mary Katherine, everybody wants to know, who is this guy standing behind you?
Oh, this laddie, this broad laddie. Well, if anyone knows of a group of books called Outlander, this is the main male character, Jamie Fraser. So there's a great group of books by Diana Gabaldon called Outlander, and I'm obsessed. I've done all the books, well, audibles, but whatever, same thing. To book 8. I'm waiting for book 9. She was supposed to come out in 2019. I'm like, Diana, what are you doing? It's 2021. Get this book out.
Come on, hurry up.
But there's a series. It's on Stars, and I think the first 4, maybe 5 seasons are on Netflix. But it's about, let's see if I can put this quickly. It's kind of like Back to the Future, Game of Thrones, and Braveheart had a baby. Oh!
Sounds like a must-watch.
Yeah, it starts in World War II with a British Army nurse who somehow, miraculously, on her honeymoon in Scotland with her husband, time travels to the 1740s Scotland during the Jacobite uprising. And it's a great education. It's historically accurate of basically the end of the Scottish Highland culture. and there's really cool events that happen throughout the whole thing. It's not cheesy, I promise you, but it's so good. I'm absolutely obsessed. So Jamie's in our shop. You can come and take a trip with him as much as you like.
Oh,
So
excellent. Thank you.
you're welcome.
And thank you for having the interview with me.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully, we can bring some business here to Dade City, and you can schlep some houses and be successful.
Sounds good. Can you give everyone your address once again?
Yes, it is 37845 Meridian Avenue. That's 37845 Meridian Avenue, and it's Lanky Lassie's Shortbread Shop.
And when will you be officially open?
The grand opening date is May 7th, and that's when we'll do the ribbon cutting and all that. I'll soft open before that. It's just, right now we're kind of in a construction phase that, life happens and it's taking some time. So as soon as we get everything screwed in and painted and put together, we'll do a soft open, but hopefully it will be ready by May 7th.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, and you guys come and check her out.
You can check me out, and you can go on our website at llshortbread.com. That's llshortbread.com. And you can order online. We ship all over the country, and you can also pick up local. So that's currently what we've been doing for really the last year. And they make really great, unique gifts. And also just if you want to eat a lot of shortbread, you can order.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I love food.
So, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you coming in here.
Thanks. Mary Katherine.
Go until that's wrong though.
So happy.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
That.
I love it. Oh, I don't have to say you're the best.